watching Fox 10 News at 9 with John Hook and Carrie Lake.
Only on Fox, a Phoenix firefighter, a Verrado high school baseball player, Demi, Lovato, and Prince. They all have one thing in common.
They overdosed on fentanyl. A lot of the fentanyl and fentanyl-laced opiates are produced by a single drug cartel out of Mexico, which is driving the increasing number of overdose deaths here in the Valley and across the country.
Fox 10's Nicole Garcia shows us how fentanyl has become the #1 killer among opiate addicts.
Fentanyl has ruined my life. It's taken everything that I love.
Parker McKenzie is now in his second stint at rehab after nearly 2 years of using fentanyl daily.
It was like a combination of meth and heroin because I felt on top of the world, but I also got that opiate body high where I just felt super relaxed, but I felt like I could do absolutely anything.
He was popping 6 to 7 pills a day. Then he moved on to fentanyl-laced heroin. He knew he was going to die if he didn't seek help. Treatment saved Parker, but while he was in rehab, fentanyl killed his younger brother.
My brother was highly scouted, highly. He was looking at scholarships from St. Louis University, University of Connecticut, schools in California. After high school, he was going to enter the draft.
17-year-old Brian McKenzie was the star pitcher at Verrado High School. The team was just days away from playing in the state finals when Brian was found dead in his bedroom. Parker says that was the first and last time his brother used drugs. He doesn't know why he did it.
That shouldn't have happened. That wasn't his path because I was a huge part in raising him. So I felt like I did a really terrible job of raising him the way he went out.
Fentanyl kills fast. Very little effort. The amount of fentanyl powder equivalent to 2 grains of sand can cause an overdose. And while fentanyl kills quick, it leaves loved ones in excruciating pain.
It's been 3 months, a little over 3 months, and it doesn't get better. You know, it's every day. It's this.
His son, 32-year-old Scott Higgins, died after unwittingly taking fentanyl. Tom says Scott and a couple of his high school buddies were going to a house party, but they decided to score some cocaine first.
They did a small sample in the car before they got to the party. And when they got there, the other 2 guys, who were much larger than my son, basically fell out of the car. My son never made it out of the car. They dragged him out, and friends did CPR until the police got there.
Scott never gained consciousness. The other 2 spent a few days in ICU but survived. Toxicology shows Scott had no trace of cocaine in his system. He died from an accidental fentanyl overdose. The survivors told Scott's father they had no idea. They thought they were doing coke. It's more common, though, for people to overdose unwittingly from fentanyl-laced pills. They run from $8 to $20 per pill on the street.
But I'd say 9 out of 10 times they don't even know. They think they're just doing perks or oxys or...
Nowadays, Parker says popping pills is as normal for high school kids and adults as smoking weed was in past generations.
Whether it's the pills or heroin, I think it's very safe to assume that there's a good possibility that that product has fentanyl in it.
Fentanyl has just now surpassed heroin as the leading cause of opioid deaths in Arizona. The problem is getting so bad that the Centers for Disease Control is calling it the 3rd wave of the opioid epidemic, with painkillers and heroin being the first 2 waves.
We've seized enough pills to kill 125,000 people.
And that's just a tiny fraction of what's on our streets.
The Mexican cartel's taken a large foothold in fentanyl and mixing it in with the other products that they're selling.
The drug is powerful. It's extremely powerful. Like, they always say you chase your first high. Well, almost with fentanyl, it's almost like you're getting high for the first time every time.
We tend to live in denial. You know, not my kid, you know, not my spouse, you know, and we can't do that. I think education is going to be the biggest thing.
Coming up at 10 o'clock, we take an in-depth look at how the rise of fentanyl is changing the way first responders and law enforcement respond to opioid overdoses. Nicole